इसे ट्राई करना। अब देखो, अब दिखा रहा है आपको?
हाँ सर, स्टार्ट हो गया है स्ट्रीमिंग।
ओके, ठीक है, तो कर दो फिर।
ओके सर। आदित्य, तुम स्टार्ट कर सकते हो।
Okay, good evening everyone. So this is the day 5 of the session which we are having today. So I would like to welcome the speaker, Mr. Kuldeep Pisda, to take on and continue with the session.
Hey guys, I am audible. Let me know if I'm not audible. Okay. Okay, guys. So today's topic is CMS, also known as Content Management System. So today we'll mostly talk about them. And before we start, let's wait for a few minutes for people to join, and then let's begin. Okay, so till then, let's talk about what are CMS. And before that, let me turn on my video so that you could see me. Okay, I think I'm visible now. Okay, guys, yeah. So till now we have been, yeah, we will we till now we have been looking about web development, about the front end, about the back end, about and all of the things and stuff, right? So often, let's say you want to participate in some in any hackathon, or maybe you are an entrepreneur and you want to build something very quick, something very quick as in because often when we are building our MVP we have to move fast, we have to build features and we have to get in the market and test it as soon as possible. And that is the time when when writing code from scratch, sometimes it takes time, because again, if we are we are writing code, and uh, the more frequent we do changes, the more we are prone to bugs and other stuff like that. So yeah, that is always there. So these are the places where something that is already premature and that is advanced enough to handle. Let's just imagine something which basically suits your requirement. As in, it has the API support, it has the dashboard that you probably might want, and all other things that you might be looking into. And it also has authentication and all other things built in. It has the email thing that is built in itself, other thing. I think won't it'd be very cool if we have all those things right in front of us, and then we just have to build some. Let's say we just have to build some clients for it, clients as in the mobile application or the front end application, and you have the whole backend. And in some cases, in some cases we don't have the. In some cases we don't have to build the front end as well. Like, we have several options which which gives us immense power to quickly get started with the front end thing as well. We just have to drag and drop, and yeah, boom, our whole website is live. And that is something that we probably will be looking into today. Yeah, so let's get started. Today's topic is content management systems and the uh, advanced things and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So as the name suggests, the short name for content management systems are CMS. Probably if you have not heard the content management system, then probably you might have heard CMS. And if you have not heard the CMS, then probably you might have heard about things like WordPress, I think, because it is the most common, it is the most popular and most common CMS that most of the people uses. And as per the statistics, WordPress constitutes about like quite some very huge percentage across the web. So it is responsible for a lot of traffic on the web. Okay, so the interesting thing about CMSs are like, though these are generalized things, like if you want to build a blog, yeah, you can get started with building a blog. If you want to build a forum, yeah, right away the CMS will help you build it as well, and so on, right? So we'll start with the CMS, as in terms of product, like you want something, for example, you want to have your own, let's say, like website, portfolio website, or some sort of blog, some sort of community, or let's say some even the LMS things, learning management systems. Like nowadays, a lot of people are like coming into the LMS thing. They're selling their courses, they're selling their content, and like they're just digitalizing their day-to-day operation. For example, they can be coaching center, like probably which was only working offline till now, but after the pandemic, they are going live, they're going online, and other things are always there, right? There is a website. There was one Kirana store in our local. Probably that might want to go online as well in the local place. So yeah, they might be turning into some e-commerce and other things. And yeah, recently in the last 2 years specifically, these types of businesses have grown a lot. And yeah, let's say you get some idea tomorrow, and like you want to quickly test it out. Like we always talk about design thinking and everything, and also we also talk about like prototyping, MVP, and all other things. So uh, the CMSs are the places where like it helps us to quickly build things out, quickly build us things, and quickly test like whether whatever we are building, whatever we are doing is actually working on. For example, if we consider an example of Zomato, so I had read somewhere that Zomato actually started with a website made in WordPress, and then they basically like they build the whole application thing for booking, for like seeing, for checking out the dishes and like items in any of the restaurants, and you can build it, you can order it out right away from the mobile. It is something that came very later, when they had like then when they had totally when they had the validated idea that yeah, okay, it is something that is working, and probably they can build something out of it. So then they moved on from WordPress to the whole building their own application, where anyone can like see the restaurants and hotels and cafe and get their own. So yeah, I will be talking. We'll be talking in terms of two kinds of CMS today. One that will help you build like your website, your probably e-commerce websites, your portfolio website, your service-based company's website, and your LMS and all other things. And in the other section, we will be looking more from the developer's perspective. Like we all are developers, right? So at times we want something concrete in the back end, and we just want to build the front end, and then we want to like build the UI, so that we don't have to worry about the backend, and it is like fluent and strong and solid and concrete. And then yeah, we just build out our MVP, and then we test it out, and if it works, then obviously you can still keep using it. And if it is not fulfilling your idea, it is not disappointing to like create your own backend thing. So yeah, let's see one type of CMS that is building your that is about building your websites and stuff. So on that list, the first thing that I talked about, the first thing that comes into the mind is WordPress. To be honest, there are plenty ones, like there's WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, and all other things. These are all like open source CMS that anyone can use to build any sort of website, any general sort of a website, not many specific ones like building CRM or stuff, like, but general ones. For example, with WordPress is so powerful that like you can make it a blogging website, you can make it a portfolio website, and you can even turn into an e-commerce website, or an LMS, or like some support sort of a website. So yeah, you just need to install the plugins that are there. Obviously, some of the plugins are free and some of the plugins are premium, and depending on the feature, depending on the use case, you can opt in to buy any of one of them, and you can build, you can get it one. For example, last time I had checked the biggest example of WordPress was probably the Startup India website is built on WordPress. I think last time, I think few years back when I had checked in, it was built on WordPress. So you can get the idea of what are the things that can be done on WordPress. On top of it, WordPress allows us to quickly upload our custom themes as well. You can hire some of the developers to build a theme for you, and you just have to install that theme. And with drag and even if you don't want to hire someone, you can you can get anyone, and with plugins like Elementor and all other things, you can build out your own UI from scratch with just drag and drop, and it will be very efficient. It will be, in most of the cases, if you configure it right, it will be AMP ready as well. So AMP is one term that most of the people uses nowadays. It is about accelerated mobile pages. So uh, they according to some of the studies, a page should any of the web page should open in very limited time. Like it should not take even 1 second. It should just load before one that specific threshold. I'm not exactly remembering that threshold, but there is some limit before which the website should be open. And when we're actually working with this CMS things, like they're all general things, and sometimes it becomes so bulky that the website looks very good, but it takes tons of second to actually load and stuff like that. But luckily, WordPress is so advanced that the community of WordPress is so advanced that it gives you option to just install and enable those freemium or premium plugins, and it will make your website very very smooth. I personally used to use WordPress for some time for HappyChases before we moved to Ghost and then finally to Medium. So yeah, you can definitely opt it out. The Drupal and the Joomla are one thing that I have used, but I personally feel that those are more those are not that general as WordPress are, and their popularity. The people who have been using it are still using it, but if you consider any of the newbie, the WordPress is the safest option to go. So yeah, the WordPress is one that I will be that I would say that it is something that you can probably open to. But tomorrow, yeah, as we are developers, right? We want to build things because like developing websites is not the only thing that we have to do. For example, if you're a student or if you're a professional who wants to participate in a hackathon, right? You obviously don't want to build only the landing page. Rather, you want to show them the full prototype, right? And that is what matters for you. And likewise, if you're a founder, landing pages are never enough for it, especially if you are into tech and a tech is a exact backbone of your whole application. Then definitely WordPress and other things are cool to have, but at the end they're not going to help you build the those scalable applications. And that is where the CMS which are which are which basically powers the backend and the dashboard, and you just have to care about the front end thing, are something that we'll be talking mostly about. So yeah, let's get started with it. So there are two of such CMS that I will be talking about. One is STR API. Let me put it in the chat. STR API. Step. You can call it Step API. Another as well, and one is directors. So I have used these two specifically, StepAI and directors, and they have been very very helpful. So you just have to build. You just have to for example, if you want to create a table, it is very easy. You just select the field which you want to build, and you just have to add the fields and tables and all those things. All are such things that you have to do from the UI. And the good thing is that you can select any of the you can select any of the databases, because they support majorly most of the databases, including NoSQL to SQL, including from MySQL to Postgres to MariaDB and all other things. And if you want to have your database on your local, it is okay. If you want to have your databases on any of the cloud servers like GCP, Azure, AWS, then also it is fine. You're good to go. You can simply just plug in, and you can just put the URL, and it will work as it will work like a charm. Likewise, if you want to configure your S3 bucket, where you would want to store your where you would want to store your static media, be it images, be it videos, and all of the things, then also it is very very much possible with these things, and you can just do it. So we will talk about both of them mostly today. We'll start with step A, and then we will we'll look into directors, and then I will tell you based on my experience which of the CMS is something that I like much. And yeah, probably then it is up to you whichever you want to go. So let me share my screen. Okay, so again today also I will I will show you I will show you from the chart, like how to install these things and how to install it and how to get started, how to configure it as well. So I will probably share my entire screen for this thing. Okay, now I think we're good to go. Okay, so I think you can see my screen now that we have just went to the website of Share API. Okay, so if you see it says that design APIs fast and manage content easily, and that is what we are interested today, right? We want to build APIs fast, and we want to manage the content easily, and it should be such that it should be very fast, and it should be very easy for us to get started. So let's get started with it. Let's copy this command. We already have the node installed with us, so I think it should not be that hard for us to run this command. It should just work like that. So let's open the terminal. I will open my terminal and I will run this command. Okay, not here. I will go into the projects, then iTalk, and there let me do it here. Not again. Steer API. Okay. Okay, so it will again like the same. It will install this plugin first. It will install this package first, which will ultimately create the steer API, and then we will then we are good to go. So these are all, if you are if you are wondering, these are all open source ones. If you let's quick start with it. Let's not do anything. Let's not play much. Let's just use it. Okay. So yeah, it is installing. Once it is installed, we are good to go. Let's wait for a few minutes before it starts. So, yeah, again, so first time it always takes time to get started. So do not worry about it. It is the usual thing. It always takes a bit time when we install it for the first time. So nothing to worry here. Okay, till the time it is installing, let's go through the WordPress. Okay, what are the feature that it has? So again, it is an open source project. So in case if you are wondering, that uh, if few of the features will not be available for you, and probably it will ask you to pay for some of the other features, and it is definitely not like that. All of the features are totally open source, and you get all the options in the website that is available. There's no such thing free version or pro version. Also at the same time, they also have some options to deploy this very easily via the cloud providers. For example, you can deploy S3 API from Digital Ocean, app discovery place, their marketplace. You can deploy it. I think probably you can deploy it from the GCP console as well, and it is there in AWS marketplace as well. Like in AWS console, you can search for this the AMI of this step API, and you are good to go. You just need to click on the you just need to click on the click on there, and within few clicks it will spin up the web server of Seripay for you. So one of the features that I like about this thing is that nowadays people want to have people they're like a lot of people want to implement GraphQL and other things, right? So obviously printing our own writing our own backend for that supports GraphQL is often sometimes a bit intensive, and also like since we are building it from scratch it takes some time. And this open source option like basically replaces them. So you don't have to you don't have to do anything extra. You just install it, and it right away from the start it basically supports both other things. It also supports the REST APIs. At the same time, it also supports the GraphQL thing. So you just have to configure the client, and you are very good to go. So yeah, they also so like this is open source thing. You have a REST option as well as you have a GraphQL option, and the customizable. You don't have to worry about whether you want to put some foreign key, some M2M, multiple of M2M or A2M, and all the kind of relationships. Rather, you just have to select based on your intuition. For example, if you think this is what that will be helpful for you. Obviously, at the end there are gonna be those relations in the back end, but they have put it in such a way that it becomes easier for you. It becomes easier from a customer's perspective, where you can you're good to go even if you're not a good you even if you're not a developer. And in case if you're wondering how we will build those advanced options, advanced dashboards and other things. And again, you always have an option to self-host it. If you think that you want to have it on your own website, on your own cloud server, then definitely you can just own it out. And the way that we are doing it, running this command will create a project. Just create this project in just create a CHD pipeline, like put this project on GitHub server, on GitHub servers, some in or Bitbucket in a private repos, and in your server, like pull it or build some Docker images. And so the options are basically endless, and you have a lot of you are free to choose anything that supports you. Okay, so how does it work? So once this is installed, it will create a directory, as we saw one for the Express, or the day before yesterday we saw one for React, right? So it will create one directory with where all the all the code and other things will be there. And what we need to do is we just need to spin the server. It will give us an option to select all those options. So yeah, I think it will be good if we just see how we can develop it. Okay, so they're showing how we can do it. So they're saying that there are there are this many options. So there are this many options with us. Like if you want to start a project, we need to do this thing, Jan develop. If you want to if you want to run it without the watch mode, then you can do the start method. If you want to, at the end it will be build it. At the end it will be no, we had to build this, and then we have to ship it. So that is we need to do run this command. Okay, it is saying that you need to cd in the you need to cd in that directory where this is created the project, and then you have to run this command. But for the first time it has done this for it has done this in itself. Okay, so if you see the project has started, and it is saying that by visiting this URL we can configure it. So I have that in the browser as well. Right now, I have not done anything extra. I just ran this command, and it is already showing me this dashboard option. Okay, so let's try to build it. Okay, so let me use my email, and I don't know what password this is, so I will say to use some new password. And let's start. Okay, so the password. So yeah, you have to do the same thing as well. Okay, that you again when you will start the project for the first time, it will ask you to create the credentials for the admin panel. and then for the next subsequent runs you have to put there. So again, by default, since I have used the express installation options, if you see over here, like it gave us two options, right? Whether to follow the express installation or the custom installation. So we went with with the express one. So because we have some limited time over there, so that's why it has chosen, it has like set everything in itself. But if you go with the custom option, then we get all the options to select our databases, select our the file path and other things. If you want to configure S3, if you want to configure GCP storages, Google storages, or if you want to configure something with Azure or DigitalOcean, it gives us all those options. Okay, so yeah, again they say like this is the admin panel, and you can see that they have this many options. Like there is one such user table that is already there, that is known as collection time, collection type, and we can create a new user there. Likewise, that we always want when we are when we are starting some project, right? We want some user options. We want some options where we can build the authentication system first, where we can put a lot of options and then we can work on it. So again, if you're wondering how we can edit it, and we can add our own custom fields which you want. For example, if you want, we want the contact number field, how we can do it. Let's go with this thing. And so yeah, again there are several options over here, like their collection type, there are single type, and there are components. So there are all three options which with which you can create things in this admin panel, and that will be eventually reflected in the APIs as well, right? So how do we do it? Like collection type helps you manage several entries. Single type is suitable to manage get only one entry. Okay. So for example, let's say we have orders, right? So we might have a lot of orders, right? So that is where that is how you decide whether what to use. So for example, we want to store the orders, we want to store addresses of all the users, we want to store the KYC records of all of the customers that we have, all of our clients and customers. Then it makes more sense to go with the collection type and build our own collection, where build our own collections where we can store those all those types of data available with us. So let's build a connection type. We'll go through this single type and component as well. So for example, if you see in all of the websites, you always see some section where we put the addresses, like this is the corporate address, office of our company, this is the contact number, and this is the customer care email, where you can find all of the things, right? The thing the thing is that they ask the single address. Like we often we don't have, for example, if I have a company in my website, in one section I will be showing one of the email address of the customer care number, right? So those are some kind of data like which we can probably treat as a single types of data, which do not need to have multiple data, that is that will only be used in one place, and we are good to go. So and then they'll be creating a table, and again just that they will be in the single types, it will be restricting it to be put only one record at a time, only one record, not more than one record in a single table. But rather, in the case of collection types, you will get an option to put any number of entries that you would want. So I think here, yeah. So here also they have put the description, like single types are suitable to manage only one entry. Often, for example, there's a place where you want to show contact number field. So yeah, you just go and make a single type fields, and you just put, let's say, contact us page details, and you put it over there, and you're good to go like that. Okay. So let's build a collection type. So you can see that in users table we already have these options. Like we already have a username field, we already have a email field, we already have a provider field, we already have a password, district password, token confirmation, token confirm, block, and other things. And we can click on just here add another field, and we can add any other field that we would want. For example, let's say we want to have the images of the customers. So you can see that there are no such places from where we can edit, right? Like the avatars are not already there. What we can do is we can click on here, and then we can click on the we can click on the, let's say, the media thing, where we can say that we want a single media, and then we can say that this is the avatar field, where only the images will be there. In the advanced section, you can see that this will not show the again. At the same time, this is something, this is that kind of CMS that also helps us build EPS faster, and we can consume it like that. So you have an option to make it private so that it won't be shown in the EPS response, but we want it to be shown, right? So that's why we won't be marking it as a private field. At the same time, it is also giving us an option to mark it as a required field, and if we mark it as a required field, then yeah, it will be required in the forms. And at the same time, it is also it is showing us that since it is a media field, what are the types of fields that we want to have, right? So again, we since this is an avatar, we only want images. We don't want any other field. So we select images and we mark it as a required field, and we say the paste. And now we have a image field that is an avatar, and it will only accept the image, not even the normal some random file, audio files or video files and stuff. Likewise, let's say we want to add the contact number field, right? How we can add contact number field? So yeah, one option is to go with the text option and then put the relations like that. The second option is always to you go with the number one here, and let's say you want to select the contact number, and then yeah, again you just need to select the format. So begin is something that we are looking for, right? So default value is also something that you can put. You can also put the maximum and minimum value. So we will be using the same thing that we used earlier, right? What we used in first of the session, when we wanted to make the contact number field and we wanted to put some validation over there, right? So what we did was we assume that we or any of the contact number will always start with uh this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and maximum that they can reach is this 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? The maximum value, okay, so it can be inclusive as well. So this will be good. Okay, so any of the contact number should be greater than this and the smaller than this, and we can make it a required field. And at the same time, we also have an option to make it a unique field. So all this actually all the options in the advanced settings will come based on the type of fields that we are selecting. For example, let's say, let me just make it a text field, right? If you see again in text fields, we have all these options, and we also have an option to put the regex button. So if you want, you can put the regex button to validate it at the same time. Again, since it is a text field, we also have an option where you can select the short text and long text and stuff, and then you can finish it, and that will be there. Okay. Now, when we press, you saw it earlier, right? That in the earlier when we were checking the users field, we did not have that option we did not have an option of avatar and contact number. But if you see in the content manager, now if I see to create an entry, you will see that we have an option to get the avatar and contact number, right? So that is something that you can do. At the same time, it also has this option of roles. So roles are something let's assume that you have several kind of users. For example, let's say if it is a school management system, so you might have several kind of roles, like you might have a student role, you might have a teacher's role, you might have a principal role, and the other non-teaching staff and all other things, right? So these are all something that you can probably choose from here. You can create those roles or in here, in the content builder and other things, other places, and then you can you can make them to work with that thing as well. So yeah, this was all about the content manager, and likewise you can create any number of tables that you want. And again, this is an open source version, so you don't have to worry about running out of some limit. Other, you are free to choose and build anything that you want in your own way. So yeah, that was about this thing, creating this content types. And then in the content manager is actually the dashboard where you can see all of the models that you created or all of the tables that you created, and it will be used likewise. Yeah. So likewise we have an option of plugins where they have several in the marketplaces. They have several options, and you can go in the marketplace, and if you want something specific, you want something that is already pre-built, you can basically go in this marketplace and actually select any of it and get started with this. For example, let's say you want to build such place with which you want to send emails to all your customers. Let's say you are building a wish list, or let's say wish list manager, where where all of the users have email subscriptions and other things, and you want to actually you want to give them an option to build emails via the UI, where they can use a drag and drop to build beautiful emails and stuff like that. So you can go and install this email designer, and yeah, it will be good to go. So they also give you an option how you can add them. This is something that we have already done, and configure the this plugin. They have a documentation how we can add it. We just need to add this add this package as any package. You just need to run this in the terminal, and we are good to go. It will show us something. It will show us some of the output, and then we will be able to see all of these things over here. So if you see these are all the plugins that are there by default. These are the default plugins that is already there, and we cannot actually disable them. But these are the extra plugins that you can always install. So if you're looking for something that usually, so we are not the first one who are looking for something specific solution, right? There might be some option where people have been building it for some time, and that can be helpful for you. You don't have to build it again from scratch, and you can just use it. For example, this rest cache thing. If you want to catch the if you want to catch all the whatever is happening wrong, if you want to catch the results that the rest APIs will respond, you can use this fresh cache, and you can set up the you can speed up your API response time. You don't have to worry about setting up your mem cache or Redis server, and then putting it going on the code, and then then deciding these are the key things that you want to cache, and this should be the validity of the cache, and whenever the contents are updating, you have to update it, right? So you don't need to worry about it. So in a nutshell, this marketplace will have most of the things that you might want. At the same time, you also have an option to actually build your own plugin. So they have some nice documentation of how to build your own plugin, and you can actually use those the document. You can follow the documentation to create your own. So yeah, if you are worried about this SEO and sitemap thing, then also this is something that they have out of the box, which you can actually use it. So just remember these things. Unlike WordPress and other things, you cannot actually use it to build. You can actually use it to build front end facing websites. You cannot build WordPress kind of website where it will show the open stuff. Rather, you can build it to actually create some dashboards for your internal team, where they can put the data, and then you can consume this via the endpoints, and then you can use them in your front end clients, be it your web application or mobile application or anything. So yeah, in a nutshell, this was one thing. Let's play with Sherry Pay. Let's try to build. Let's say we want to store the addresses of all the users, right? How do we do it? We have an option to either to put addresses in the user table itself. We can go over there and we can add a field of the address, but I think it will not be ideal, right? Because usually if you see on the e-commerce website, in the Amazon website, we have an option where you can add multiple addresses, right? And the good way to do is to actually build another content type where it will be the address, and then you can actually use it. So yeah, so let's do one thing. Let's get one new collection type, and then let's link it with the user model, right? So how can we do it? Let's get an addresses. Let's get an address table and addresses. Yeah, so it is saying the singular and plural version, which is good. and draft publishing system. So yeah, we should have the draft or publish system. What is it basically? Like whenever we have some data, we want to actually we actually want to put another check. So whenever we'll put some data, if it is published, then only it will be consumed anywhere. If it is not published, then we will not use this anywhere, right? So yeah, we want to have that because it is always helpful when we have not finalized anything, then we can actually use it to uh, we can use it to make something draft and publish actually something. Enable localization. So if you want, you can also select this option where you can localize this content based on the language and other things. So let's go ahead, and now it is asking us to add some inputs. For example, in now the addresses thing, we have an option of, let's say, the main field is always the address, or let's say line number or something like that. So let's keep it the address, or let's keep it street number, street underscore. I know it should be short text, right? And let's make it required. It should be required. It should not be unique, but yeah, we're not also putting this default value as a thing, but it is required so that you have to put it as well. We want to add another field as well. That should be we added the street number. Let's see, we add the let's add the address field as well, where they will put some more details of it, like the bungalow number, this and blah blah blah. And okay, that should be address. This is a typo. This should also be required. Then you can have another option where we can where we can have when we can ask for the city, and it should be required. We can add another option as state state, and then again you can mark it as required, and you can add country and make it as a required field, street number, address, city, country, and then let's add the zip. Zip should be integer, right? So let's make okay. Okay, I think I just pressed the like, so I need to refresh it so that it will come over here. Okay, I think we did not press 7. Now we have lost where we were. I am not very sure. I think we lost it. It was not saved properly. So make sure to use the caches wisely. This is something new which I just discovered now, but okay. AWBRESS address, and then yes, we want to have this content. Now we want to have a field where we want to have the street number. It should be required. We can have another field. It should be the address. It should also be required. We can have city field. Again, this should be required. We can have another state field. It should also be required. We should have another country field, which should also be required. Okay, and then we were actually adding the zip number or the pin code in our way. So let's make it pin code, and the number format should be, I think, big number should also be required. So now if you see, now we have this address table where we are building an address table, where we are adding all these things, and if we press save, then actually it will store the details in the table, and uh, that's actually when it will be stored in the database, and we can see. Okay, so yeah, it is showing that address has been put, address has been actually built, and yeah, how do you create content over there? We create we have to create we have to go in the content manager. We have to click on the newly created content types, and then we can click on the create content. If you see that you can put all this information, so right now we want to build an information. Now we want to relate these tables where now we want to read this thing, and where so that we can actually relate any of the addresses and with any of the user, right? So, and the good thing about this is actually you can build some dashboards over here, like dashboards as in like some simple dashboards where it will actually list all the data and other things, right? So how you can do is like whenever you can go over here, and I think here you will get the option. So in the table you will see the format, you will see it in this way, and you can enable or disable search, you can enable disable the filters, and then other things are obviously there, right? So yeah, let's create the user thing with the address, right? So with one option that we can see is like the relation with of user to address will be like one to many, any user can have multiple addresses, and that is what we need to implement. So let we go on the content and builder again, that's it, go on the user thing, and let's make another, let's add another field. The other field will be a relation, like how it will be a relation. Let's go on the relation thing, and let's try to build that user has one. So the good thing about this is like it is in the UI, it is actually showing us like what kind of, we don't need to worry about like whether I need to select one to one, many to one, or any such operation. Rather, it is showing in this kind of relation, user has one address, but there's something that we don't know. User has and belongs to one address. That is also something that we don't want, right? It is saying that user belongs to one address, and that we don't want. User belongs to my address. That is something that we're looking for. Addresses have many users, right? So like a single address cannot be used by many users. It can be the cases, but like obviously it has to be some different user. For example, if the members are of the same family, right? Then case in that case, both of the members can actually have the same address, but at then for us, it is a distinguisher because that is at this theoretically that address is the same address, but it is not the same address for us because that is an address for that specific user, and that is the address of the another family member of the house, right? And then user has and belongs to many addresses. Yeah, that can be true, but again, like then what it will become a mess that any of the any of the address can be shared by two users, which is something that we don't want. That because if you are considering, if you're thinking about the if you're thinking about the family members case, then it is one case in which it should be true. But if we enable it, then remember, like non-family members will also will be eligible for it, and that is something that we definitely don't want, right? So yeah, and the last option is saying that user has many addresses, and that is something that we're looking for. So yes, user has many address, and the difference between them is user belongs to many address, and this is user has many address. So this looks more, this makes more sense that a user has many addresses, right? So let's go with this option. Let's click on finish, and voila, like in the table that they have added this option. Let's click on save, and you can see that probably in the from here, whenever let's go on the content manager, let's try to add any of the user. Let's get a new entry and edit the model, and I think we have to allow this field. Okay, I think we have to configure. Okay, we have to configure the view, and in this place, let's edit this thing. And okay, okay, yeah. So you can see that in this place, it is actually allowing us to put the address over here. So how the address will be stored? We'll create an address first, and then we'll match it with this with the UI, right? So let's create one. Let's create a new address. Let's say street number XYZ, address ABC city. Let's say Raipur, state CG, country India, and then pin code is 492001, right? So one thing that you can obviously say is that it would have been better if you have that drop down option with you, right? So that is something that you can definitely add whenever we are adding the whenever we are actually adding whenever we are building it, we can actually define it at that time itself. The good thing is that in the dashboard itself, it shows us that it was created by whom and whom we edited it last. So that is one of the pretty cool features of Step AI, and then you can save it. And yeah, so okay. So let's leave it for a bit later, and let's keep the okay. Let's check it out later. Okay. So yeah, now we have created created the data entry, and you can see this is how we can see it. And if we want to change it, we can select any of these things that we want. Like we can select this number of fields, and it will show us the data based on it. And likewise, you can edit it when we click on it, you can click on edit and it will edit it. If you want to duplicate it, just click on here, and if you duplicate the default data. If you want to change anything, I want to change the pin code. I want to change the street number, XYZ number 2, and you can save it. So this is how, like, so you don't need to worry about, like, creating tables, worrying about, like, creating the, like, foreign key, putting indexes and all those things over there. You can directly get started with your defining your, like, schema or tables from right from the admin panel. And this is one of the cool things that we want when we're working fast, when we want to, like, build the when we want to when we want to build the MVPs and, like, prototypes. So yeah, likewise, now let's create a user and let's assign it. So let's create a user. It should be, let's say I want to create my own user, KD Pisda @kdpista.com. Okay. Password, let's put it something and then confirm. So yeah, again, it has an option where, like, any of the it has by default an inbuilt authentication system. So whenever, like, we log in, if we can configure a flow where, like, any of the user can actually, whenever they verify their email, then only we make them as, like, verified user. And then if they try to log in without verifying their email, then you can see that, like, you are not verified your email, you have to do it, and then only you'll be able to log in stuff. So that we can do. And likewise, you can actually block and unblock any of the user. So again, that is something that logic we will have to implement it in ourselves. It is just that these are some flags that are already there with us. Likewise, we can select the avatar, and then we can put the contact number over here. Since let's try to put some random number, it should not allow it, right? And let's try to put some new asset, and let's try to select it from here. So it is, yeah, it is showing us. Let's go downloads and let's put some random JPG. Yeah, let's try to use it. Okay, it has put and upload one assets to library, and then okay, now then, yeah, finish. Boom, like, we have now we have that avatar with us, and let's try to save it. You will see that kiddie value is too short because it required, I think, 6 characters or something like that. So let's make it this, and let's try to save it. And it is saying that it is true, right? So the minimum value that we were expecting was like 50000 blah blah, and the maximum number that it will accept will be any of the 10-digit number, but obviously greater than 50000, right? Let's try to put some 11-digit number, and let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11. Oh, I think it should disallow us, saying that okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it is showing, right? It is saying it is showing. So let me put the exact good number. Let's say 9034567891. It should allow that value with us. So you saw that, like, this basic validation that we had put is actually working, and we're good to go. Okay, so again, you can select any of the addresses here or here, and we can save it, and boom, that will be added to that user itself. Okay, now how we can actually consume this in the API form, right? So what we need to do is, let's try to log in again, and let's test the API. So it says that okay, generate an authentication and retrieve the content you just created. Okay, so it again, like, whenever you're creating some clients, we have always have an option to either, like, make something public or say make something restrictive. So that is something that is there by default. Like, we can create API tokens from here, and we can actually use those API tokens to access our APIs. Likewise, you can also create some users, and, like, we can build a user mechanism, like, where they log in via some credentials, and then we give them some token, and then they can use it. So let's try to go with the default one. Let's try to create a new token, and let's try to create a test new token. Description, testing. And this token, again, you can define this token as, like, read only access or full access type. So let's make it full access, so that we don't get some restrictions while testing out this APIs. Again, it depends on your use case, and based on your use case, you should actually, like, choose these things wisely. So yeah, now the API has been completed. It is saying that how you have to access the API. You have to go on this URL, and, like, this USCD will, I think it will be the content name. Like for example, user or address is something that we'll have to put there. Your domain we'll have to put this localhost 1337 as of now because we are running it locally. Okay, so let's try to check them actually if it is working or not, and let me do that right over here. So there again, there are many ways to take this content. They have a full documentation for it, but let's try to use the current one. Okay, so the endpoint for us is actually this. The host for us is this. Again, the HTTPS will not work because we have not enabled HTTPS, and to enable HTTPS in local is pretty it is pretty hacky, and we should not go into it. Just like get some domain and just use it over there. I think that will be more helpful. Then let's say we want to use this endpoint, we want to use this collection type, and then in the authorization header we have to use the beer, and then we have to paste the token. So this is the token that we are getting from here. Let's copy this thing from here, and let's go on the authorization one, and let's use the beer one. Okay. So the thing is that in when we go with this thing, it will create a authorization header with beer and stuff like that. So this thing, the beer with a small b, I think it should not affect, but let's see. So yeah, it is saying that it is not able to find because I think we are calling something wrong. So let's try to see how we can what is CT and other things, right? So STR API docs and strip and no STR API getting started introducing the API documentation. Okay, no, this is a plugin. By using this is not something that we're looking for. Rather, we are looking for how we can consume this. What is that CT name that we have to put here? Let me see. Okay, yeah, again, no, sorry. So that was users, not user, right? So you can see that, since I had even if I don't send this thing, if I make it no auth, then it will not work. It will say that it is forbidden. And again, if I say that this is the method that how I want to use it, then you will get all these users and stuff. And I think the basic searching and all these things are by default present over there. For example, let's try to search it as well. I think docs.str api.io. This is the last one that where we should go. And here in the v4 documentation, I think probably we might have one. In v4 document, setup and plugins, development, update, migration, and user roles and permission plugins. General setting, API reference. Okay, I think REST API is okay. Let's go with there. Okay, so yeah, getting an entry and all those things are something that we are actually getting. So they are saying that we have to put the plural ID. Then we were putting the singular one. That's why we were getting the error, and then it is actually giving us the whole data in form of an array where it is returning it like that. And interestingly, it is not actually returning these things on the data keyword in which it should return, which is string. But okay, I think these are either the documentations are not updated or we are using some version which is not matching with this documentation. But anyway, you get the idea, right? Like you will get the idea in that way itself, and that is how you can actually check it. So yeah, again, this actually follows the whole rest endpoint. So in any of the REST endpoint, we have an option of get, post, get, put, and read, and all other options, patch, and other things. So it basically follows this that thing. For example, if we make a get, if we make an get, if we do a get call, then we'll get a list of it. If we do a post call, then we can actually create any of the data. We can create any of. We can basically then create the data on for that specific model. For example, then if we did something like this, we are passing the primary key, then you'll get that specific one. Then if you do some patch update, then you can basically update some field. Let's do a patch call, and let's try to update any of the field JSON, and then let's try to update the username field. How let's make it quality of UI only. Okay, and let's try to see if okay, method not allowed. Okay, I think they do not allow pairs, so we'll have to go with the put method, and yeah, it allows them, right? Like you can see that we updated this field, and yeah, we are able to update that field. If I make it, let's say 01098, and yeah. So at the end, like when we are actually building fast, like we just want this endpoints, like we want to have that option where we can create this REST endpoints in a Go and we can consume it. At the same time, on the contrary, we are also getting a nice dashboard with which we can do some CMS based operations as well. If we can create we can put the data, we can export it, we can import it, and all other things that is possible with it, right? So that is one option with it, and likewise, it also has an option for GraphQL and other things. So for that, we don't have to we need to install this GraphQL plugin, and then it is enabled, and then only we can actually query another thing. But I'm not going over there because I want to show you one another CMS that is favorite of mine, Directors, which has similar features, but it has a few bit more features with apart from that STLP offers. So I would want to show you that. But before that, let's see how you can perform this search operations and other things. So in query search filter, I think in okay, it is not something that we are looking for. Okay, API parameters. Okay, so yeah, again, these are all options that we can have. We can we can get the pagination and other things as well. That will help us in the get tag. We can get it, and likewise in I think we also might have an option of searching and other things. So okay, we're not getting it right here, but yeah, there's an option over there which I'm not exactly remembering right now, but there is one filtering and okay, yeah. So it also has one way of actually doing filtering over there. Like you can put the field and then you can put pass the operator, right? So for example, if you want to check for equality, if you want to check for not equality, then you just have to pass it in the URL as a query parameter. It will be good to go. For example, let's try to see if we do an operation of get and on users, we'll get a list of users, right? Let's try to see if you want to filter. What do you want to filter? Let's copy this thing and let's put it right here and let's see. So the field that you will be looking, let's say you want to search on the username, and where we want to look like if you want to see for equality, right? Let's say if you want to see for equality, then we need to simply put this equality thing and let's see for KD. It should not return anything, right? And it is not returning. Let's put this quit UIOP and okay, yeah, we since we're looking for equality, right? It will not obviously, because it is this username is not equal to that. But if you're looking for something like if it contains let's see for this thing, if we go with this, if it contains, let's say KD, if does it contains KD? No, it does not contains. But does it contains QWER? You will be interesting that it is working like a charm, right? So that is something that we want in the fly, right? We want to build APIs that are this faster, and we can basically go ahead and consume it and build something out of it. So they have vast possibilities over here, and on top of it, they also have an option to pass additional operators like passing this and or thing where you can where you can basically join two of the filter parameters and check for it. So yeah, this is one good to have CMS that we get on the fly, and again you can create roles from here as well, and then these are the users. So again, remember these are there is one user table over here, and there is one user over here. These are the users that can actually log in this admin panel, and these users are something that you have created for that you probably want to use somewhere, but these users won't. This is just a table, right? And these are users are nowhere linked with this dashboard, so they won't be able to log in this dashboard, and they will be just a table. We'll just treat them as a content type or content or just a content thing. We have a table and stuff. So these two users are actually different, so don't get confused with it, and like that. Likewise, you can invite any of the new user, and you can configure the email as well, right? So example, if you want to configure it, you can put the email thing. You can put I think for this also we'll have to install the probably some plugin for enabling it, and then we can select. Like if you want to send email from this panel, then what is the default email that we will be using? The what will be the default response email? Like in all of the email, we always have an option to reply to. For example, if even though you get some reply from no reply emails, if you pass the some default response email, then if they click on the reply, then the email will be sent to the specific one. Likewise, so yeah, again, we have an option of configuring different email providers. By default, so since we are not installed that plugin, it is not showing us, but we can set it up, and then also we can set we can test it if it is working or not. Likewise, you can also add this provider thing. So this is one cool thing. For example, if you see that nowadays a lot of people want to integrate a lot of this thing that they want to integrate a lot of identity providers like Auth0 is one, Cognito is one used by AWS. You can like whenever you see an option, right, like login with Google, login with Facebook, and login with GitHub, Instagram, and other things. So these are all such options which you can come configure right away. You just need to click on here. For example, let's say if you want to enable login with Google, just click on here. Just click on enable it. Put the client ID from the developers console, the client secret, the directory that you'll be using. The good thing is do not touch it because this is how it is configured, and then blah, then whoa, you're good to go, right? You just save it, and you can basically enable login with that specific identity provider. Likewise, you can put email template. By default, they have two templates for reset password and email confirmation. And then they have several other option where where you can configure how do you want to show this dashboard, like for the authenticated user and for the public users. And that is something that you can definitely configure it. And yeah, these are some of the options. And one thing it's been sometimes I'm not getting like from where I can actually update this thing to make it something, but I think it is there somewhere in the in the environment variable. So let's try to see. Let's see if I can open it. Let's say projects, and then I talk their str API, and let's try to see if we can open it. So if we see we might have an .env file, so where we usually pull this .env things and stuff. I think somewhere here probably, or somewhere in the package JSON or something. Probably we can configure it. But okay, I'm exactly not getting it, but I think yeah, there's an option where you can change the name and stuff in the admin UI. Like this is also something that we're not interested in, configuring. And yeah, our databases public, and okay, databases migrations and stuff is there. Configure admin.js and secret API thing database. So yeah, right now it is actually using SQLite by default, but obviously we can configure our Postgres and other such good databases, including RDS with some cloud providers like RDS in Azure or in GCP. There they're good to go. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, we just need to change the client. And you even since we did the express one, we don't have we could not get an option to configure it right away. But if you install with the custom way, then we have to actually supply the username and password where it will actually install it. So yeah, guys, this was about the HTTP one. I will see how we can update this as well, because this is the first thing that you always want. This is something that you want to update it like in the first go. So though yeah, again, also they also have a concept of webhooks where you can configure the webhooks, and like you can trigger you can set up webhooks, and you can set the trigger conditions as well, like it. So these are some of the just some of the good to have features for all of the CMS lately. And the CMS that is not having these features is lacking very behind. But yeah, most of it is actually having now. So they also have a paid option where actually they they provide the cloud. So they say it is open source and free and forever. Just that if if you want to go with them, they will host it for you, and then you can select the options, and you can get it. So this option is also not available yet, but I think it will be coming soon. like it. So yeah, this was the first time CMS for this evening. Let's move on to the other one that I am like very eager to show you, because mostly because the UI that you're seeing right now, and like the experience that you are putting over here is good, but it is not that good because it has a bit better like a UI that it is here. So that is something that I'm more interested in, and yeah, let's check it out. So I just close this thing. Let's just close this HTTP thing, and let's move with the other CMS, that is direct us. It is my favorite, and you see why it is my favorite now. In a while, I will show you. Okay, so again, it is also one such like CMS that is very fast, that is reliable, and like it is again like backed and used by this many very good like international companies, multinational companies. So it is an open source platform. It is we can like use it to store on any. We can use it to like host it anywhere in our own cloud, or in like in any of uh, the any of the cloud providers. They also have an option of like enterprise cloud, with which they will. It is a premium option, but obviously we are looking for the open source one, right? Like in this enterprise cloud, the project will be same. Just that like they will be hosting it on their own. They will be deploying it on their own server, and they'll be actually like some they will be helping you on a priority basis, because since you're paying it to you. If you go to the pricing case, so yeah, this is one fully managed self-service solution. So again, you don't need it, but yeah, if you choose to go with their cloud, the only difference by the feature by feature wise, like you don't have any such limitation. Just that like you have to uh, just that you'll have to pay so that they will deploy it on their server, and they will fix it, they will update the new version and all those things. If you go with the self-hosted one, if you go with the free version of their cloud, then it has this many limitations and other things. But yeah, you can always go with the fully managed self-centered solution, and that is what we are going to do, right? So let's check the documentation of it, and and I think the documentation is also docs.latest.io. Okay, so let's get started. So again, they also have very good options of like installing it via a lot of things. Like for example, you can configure the database. You can configure uh, you can use it via the Docker one, or they also have a Docker support. So you actually don't need anything. You just need a Docker file. You need to put the you need to put the configuration, and it will be good to go. So I think let's go with that option now. Let's click start, and then again how we did with the like CDPI. Again, we can do this with this thing. We create a new project, and then we can start it with us, right? So let's go. I'm looking for the API example. Like I'm looking for the Docker example, because I want to show you a lot of things over here. But okay, let's see. Let's see if we have an option over here. Yeah, we have an option over here. Okay, so yeah, we have an option of Docker. We have an okay directors database. Do we have here? Okay, so yeah, so great. So they're actually giving us an option. They're giving us this like this file, this Docker compose file, and we can actually use it to quickly get started with it. So let's use it, and let me create like let me go here. So if you're familiar about Docker, then probably like how to run it. If you're not able, if you don't know, then also you don't need to worry about it. You just need to run this command. So let's make a directory mkdir directors. Let's go into the directors folder, and let's open it in VS Code, and let's expand it. And yeah, yeah, okay. So let's make a new file over here. That should be known as Docker compose.yml. So you don't need to have understanding of Docker. You just need to copy this file and go over there and just run this command as Docker compose up. This is the only command that you have to run. It will fetch the image of the directors, and It will fetch the database, it will fetch the cache thing, and it will set up all for you. I think this option might also be there for Sharepia, but I have not used it, and at least I have not seen it. But it might be there probably because there are also some good, like famous CMS, some good used ones. So hopefully, they should have it. But okay, let's see. It will take a bit time again. So whenever we pull any of the images for the first time, it usually takes time. But luckily, I have some good internet, so I think we'll save a lot of time over here. So again, the thing is that you can all you can, if you're worried about like how what will be the the username and password for the for the credentials for logging in the admin panel and stuff, then you don't need to worry about it because you can see that these are all there in the environment variable. So they say if you want to log in, so even if you change this, it will be good. You just change this and you just restart the server and it will be good to go. Okay. So yeah, we have started the server and it will be running probably in the I think localhost. I'm not sure. Okay, but okay, let's see. Localhost, I think 3000. Okay, 3000. Oh, I think it was okay. Let's see the logs. I have forgotten. Okay, it might be there somewhere here. Okay, so 8055. Okay, 8055 is one port where we should look. Okay, I think it is still. Okay, guys. It is still it is still working. So it is saying that a 5432 it is can't connect to database because it is already working. I'm worried that my another server, database server, is also working. Let me quickly. Okay. Now it is up. The server is started, and is it good? No, not yet. The database is up. The cache is up. Okay, now the actually this API will be up, because this has dependencies on cache and database. So only when they are up, this directories will be up. So let's wait till the database gets updated, and then let's deep dive into it. So yeah, again, the one of the main feature that I liked about Directors is the admin panel. So they have a section where use it to actually create dashboards and stuff. So if we see the use case, they say if you want to build, let's say, a headless CMS, then you're good to go. Here, if you want to build something like apps, game, and IoT, then it is that powerful that it can support that as well. And this is no code app builder, right? So again I will show they have very good options of actually displaying data. They have beautiful ones, and the BI tools is something that is very new to it. But again, yeah, you can create some, for example, you don't need to go to Power BI and other things. It is still in development. The BI tools are not very strong as of now, but again, it is very promising. You can create some beautiful business insights from all the data that you already have. The digital asset management thing is also very good, and raw data visualization and other things are very awesome, right? So how you need to configure all of those things, they are already there by default. You just need to change this. For example, let's say if I want to go with the Redis one, right? So again, this is PG I need to change it to Postgres one. I need to change it to I need to change this DB client to the Postgres one, and then I need to put my credentials, actual credentials of Postgres data. It can be anywhere. It can be in GCP, Azure, or it can even be in the AWS. Likewise, again, the caching is also there. I just need to put the exact configuration setup where it will be there. And likewise, I have an option to put we have an option to configure and put uh, the S3 and other things as well. Like for example, if you want to add a single, if you want to have your all the digital assets on S3 bucket, you can configure it like that. I think there is some issue going on with this. Logical application launcher database system is often getting shut down, which is something I am not. I don't think it is good, but let's see. More interesting. Let's see if I have another server that is already running. Docker PS. Okay, yeah, so nothing is running. I think it should be good. It is actually already getting this 54321. Okay, you see now it is working, right? So I think it has some issue in the initial run. Okay, yeah, so now the direct is up. I think this should be working. And okay, good. Yeah, we are already on the admin panel, right? So we need to copy this credential because that is the default credential that has been put. I will put it over there and I will put this thing and boom. You can now I just signed in on the admin panel, right? And it looks beautiful, right? Versus the previous one that we already have, right? So, like the content type, they say that everything that every new table in this platform is actually called a collection. They also have an user activity thing where like they can see the where you can actually see you can add and see all these users, and on top of it they have several options here which I liked much. These options are like that you can select this layout option. For example, like I can see this I can just use this layout option as of calendar. For example, you want to build an LMS, you can build the layout as a calendar, and then you can select the template, and you can select the you can select the this field that will be shown. For example, let's say you have one show that runs from Friday 18 to Monday 21. Then you have to select those fields from that specific row. Like in your table, what in your table, what is that field that basically select or that represents this field, and then it will show it like that. Likewise, you can select the cards. Again, in cards, they also have an option to choose the field. For example, in this cards field, the avatar is an important field, right? They understand and they are showing us the option that select this field from select any of the field that actually belongs to an image source. And they're also smart that they will only show you the image field. They will not show you the any of the other text or the other fields. Okay. Likewise, again, they're giving you beautiful options to actually build some good dashboards. And likewise, now if I select, let's say I want to build a map, I can actually do that as well. Let's say you want to build an e-commerce website where you want to visualize from all where all all your data is coming. So they have a by default they have an inbuilt support of some of the map version. I'm not sure about it, but what you need to do is you just need to put the that specific API key in in this environment file, and it will work like a charm. You can zoom in, you can you can do something like this. You can crop this field and you can zoom into it and stuff like that. So since I don't have much data, it will not work, but yeah, it will work if we configure it very good. Then again, it has a table, it has a table view as well. And likewise, you can select any of the field, I can select all these fields, and I can basically order them as well as I want, and it will be real time reflected. And on top of it, they have an option of actually spacing also compact. You want to make it compact, you want to make it comfortable, you want to make it cozy. And they also have an option to actually get the updated live updated data. So I think it is an old version, that's why we are not able to see it. But in the new version, they have one option where this dashboard will automatically update in an interval. Which, for example, we want to build a live interval, we want to build and ordering something like that, and there we want to see the live orders, right? So the dashboard will keep updating automatically in itself in a very regular interval. And yeah, it is handy thing, isn't it, right? So likewise, you can export the data, you can select any other format, and when you click on the export thing, it will actually export it. And the good thing is that they have this actually activity logging. For example, if I go on this table and let's say if I update that, let's say I update this field and I save it, right? If I go on the revision thing, let's say if I go in the model and if I see the revision, it will see that who updated which field. If I see, it will say that the revision preview was so that I updated this title. I updated this title. Where is it? Yeah. So earlier it was like this. Okay. Let me actually. Oh yeah. So they're giving an option where actually, where, you can actually revert this whole whole revision thing, and you're good to go. So it is something that I like much. I pretty much like much about it. That they have all these nice options in the dashboard itself, and this is something that I think is good to have. So let's create one model likewise. Let's create, so here again, you can create a new user model and you can use it, but the one feature which I like is they have inbuilt role system as earlier that we had, but you can actually we don't need to create different users table as we are safe to have as we were good to with this roles and other options. I think it might be possible with the HTRP one. Let's be honest, but I have not explored that option with that CMS much. But I have been using this actively lately, and I love it. So that's why I'm sharing it. Okay. So yeah, again, all the files and stuff are there. Something that you can that you can get at here, and you can again you can create folders and other things, and whenever whenever you're defining models, whenever you're defining some fields where you would want to have the specific image, you can define the folder in which you would want to in which you would want to have that image. For example, if you want, let's say if you're building a blog, if you're building a blog, then you can create a blog folder in the file library, and you can let's do it right away, right? Won't it be helpful? Let's create a folder, let's say blog 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 thumbnails. Okay, let's create a new folder over there. Then let's create a new blog. Let's go over there, let's create blogs, and then again there is an option to create a singleton or the other one. So in singleton, again it will be like the single entity, like it will only have one record, as we saw the first example in the morning, right, in the evening, right? So that is what it represents. And but yeah, we don't want it to have like a single record. Obviously we want to have multiple blogs in our platform, so we will be going with that, right? Now it also actually gives an option to actually select the primary key field. So I think by default in HTML API, image field is the default one. The integer field is the default one, but we can select the auto incrementing integer or UID, or you can also give them an option to enter it manually. So let's say want to go with this thing. Now they have an option of these are the fields that is there by default. If you want to, if you want, you can enable it. For example, status field. So the status field is again it has three fields, the draft, the publish, or the archived ones. For example, if you want to have, if you are building any such CMS, I think that this field is always helpful in determining the which data you want to keep in the draft mode or in the publish mode and stuff like that. The sort field is is also helpful when you want to enable sorting. So basically, how do we preserve the sort thing? We just put the numbering in the sort field. That the sort number of this will be the zero. It will be one, it will be two, and stuff like that. And then in the end, in the UI, we sort the we sort the received data in with this field, and then yeah, it is all sorted now. Likewise, he created on and created by field. So again, it will be this field will be something that will this created by updated by field is something that will, if anyone if any user updates that specific model, then it will be actually showed there, like who created it and who last updated it. Likewise, the date as well. Now we have created this. Now we have created this actually. We have created this model. Now we can add multiple fields, right? How we can add multiple fields? If you see, it has a lot of options. For example, let's say you want to have a title. So you can see what are the titles that you want to have. Yeah, so the title will should be the title field. The title should be is a small input field, right? So it should be its title, and then it should be in string. It should be required, and you can place a placeholder. Please enter the title, and then you can put the icon. This is icon that will be used in the UI. So let's use something like this if you want. And then let's save it, right? Now we want to have a body fill again. So now obviously, if you go over there in for the body fill, it seems like either we should go with the this editor or this editor, right? Because in blog we want to put some rich media, we want to put some images, we want to put some some videos, we want to put some headings and stuff like that. So let's go with this thing again. You have a choice, like if you want to go with the markdown, if you want to go with this WYSI So again, this is stores things on HTML, and this is store things on Markdown. So let's say people now consider there is a mentality where people consider Markdown as a safe thing instead of the HTML one. So let's go with that. Let's say it is a whole content. It should also be required, and then again, if you see, it is saying that, if there are any images, then where we should put it, right? So let's do one thing. Let's create one folder there for it first, right? So let's go. We have a blog thumbnail. So let's do one thing. Let's make a blog folder where all the things will be there, and we can actually do something like this. We can move this folder. Okay, we can. No, we want to move it, right? So how do we move it? You click here and you click on move to a folder, and then you click on draw and you save it, and then boom, this folder is now put inside it. So here, now create a new folder. There's uh blog and images, and then you save it, and then boom, now you have two folders. Now you go back over, no, now you will go back here in the setting. We see in a data model we have a blogs field. Now we go in this field, then again we add the content thing, and then we want it as a markdown. We do it, and then in the folder we are saying that in the blogs folder, all the images that we will that we'll probably put via the markdown thing, let's put it over there. And again, if you're using something like S3 bucket or something, then you can actually use this image tokens to basically append it on the response, so that they will be able to access those images again. So yeah, in by default we don't want to mess with it. So let's go with this, and boom, now we have a title, now we have a content. Again, now if you see, they also have a text field, right? So we want to put some tags on that block, right? So just let's name it tag. And now we can alphabetize it, so that the tag that they will receive in the response will be they will get in a specific alphabetical order. Then we also had this such sort of nice option for the dashboard, that if there is space, and we can replace them with hyphen underscore, and you can indirect, or you can directly remove those spaces, and just combine it, right? So it is useful when, let's say, when it is useful when we are actually making tags, right? Because sometimes it becomes a bit sometimes it becomes confusing when we have spaces. So yeah, just perspective, it is all about perspective thing. So yeah, so you can again save it, and boom, now you have title, content, text. And now let's say you want to add a author. How do we add? Also, no, let's say you want to set a publishing date, right? So what you can do is you can select a date time, and then you can say that it was published at, or let's say publish at, not publish it. When will we publish it? And then we can make it required, and then it is a date time field, or date field, or time field, or a specific timestamp which we are looking for. And then again, if you want to use 24-hour stuff, you want to include second anything, no, it is good to go. Then we good to go here. Now then, again, it has a bunch of features, like for example, I want to have, let's say I want to have a drop down field. In the last case we were wondering how do we edit, right? So we can, it is very clear here. For example, if you want to add address, you just create the name of the field, and then you create choices over here itself, and you're good to go. Likewise, you can give an option for selecting the icons, likewise an option for checkboxes, and the drop down where they can select the multiple ones, they can get the radio option. Likewise, now what do we want? We also want an thumbnail field, right? So we can put thumbnail, and then we can actually mark it as required. And again, we have an option, where do you want to put the thumbnail? So we select this, and then yeah, boom. So now we have everything, right? Okay, now we are missing author here. How do we add author? So we go on the relation, and then we see, we don't want multiple, we don't want file, we don't want image, we don't want multiple files. Just build a ATM and stuff like that. So this is something that we need to understand. So here in case, in that one case, uh, one basic knowledge of relation is actually required. Otherwise, you won't be able to actually make good out of it. But yeah, to see if for example, if you want to read, one author with if you want to read, if any for example, in our case, an author can have multiple blogs, right? So that is why we are going to use this minute one, that an author can have multiple one one user can have multiple blogs, or separately, like one block will always have one author. That is what we are trying to implement. That's why we're going with this minute one option, where you can simply select author, and then again you can see this is also required, and then you have to select which collection you want to point to. So you want to go, so by default we are not creating our own user model, so let's say we're going with this directors option, and then there we are actually selecting in the admin what do you want to, how do you want to show this thing. So we are selecting, then yeah, just show the first name and last name, and we are good to go. And yeah, we again we also have an option to select, put the we also have an option to basically put some filtering on the user list that will be shown to the user. For example, we only want to see the users who have actually verified themselves. So maybe the status is actually archive, not all the users who are actually active, that can be then they can be an author, right? So let's say we just put it, and then we can go over here, and then yeah, now we as of now we don't have any such option. So yeah, we can go over here, and then this status will come here. So let's say this is our first blog, and then we can do something like quality pipe blah 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 and stuff like that. And okay, let's properly select the quality UI. No, no, not we are looking for Laurel Ipsum. That will basically copy from here, and let's see if we are able to actually get it done. We copy from here and then we paste it here, and then yeah, again we can make it. You can make it a title. We want to make it a bigger title. And if you want, if you are very confident that you can actually, you don't need any UI, you can type the markdown as it is, and again you can see the preview over here. This is how the preview will look like, and if you go on the preview again, then you have an option to do a lot of things. Let's say I want to make it a code. I just do it something like this, and then do something like this, and in previous you get good to go, right? So this is very much simple. And likewise, you can see the code as we had, we already had this in the code mode. We can insert a table, insert the image, and do a lot of things that anyone would want to have. Now text. This is a text box. You just then the tag and press the enter, and then let's say this is the first block, then enter. Okay, no, this is wrong. So I click on this again and it is gone. So I just click first block, and then boom, it is there. Publish it. When you should publish it, you should publish it on 19th of 11 p.m. Yeah, it works for me. Now, how do we select the thumbnail? I would like to select the old image that we uploaded as well. We'll select this. Who is the author? Now, the author is not anyone. I am the author. I edit this, and then I do this, and yeah, boom, now you have all these options. Again, we can select this thing. For example, we can select what are the options that you want to show. So I can select this ID thing, and then I can probably put the author as well as the publisher thing, and then I can update it. And also we have an option of auto refresh. So example, if I put this, enable it, then on this interval it will automatically refresh this table. And it is not that I have seen this, I have used this dashboard, and it looks like very expensive, it will keep making call, but it does not actually make your browser laggy, and it works in a very smooth manner. Now, if you are wondering, that this is something that this image is, this okay, let's update it. Let's make the title first. Content is something that we don't want to see. We want to, yeah, obviously want to see the status. Now we want to see the tags. Okay, see the tags. We want to see the thumbnail, author, and publisher. Okay, now we are seeing this the thing, right? And it is something that is not making much sense to us. So let's go over here. Let's go on this box again. Let's go on the thumbnail field, and on the display thing you can on every field you will get these options, right? So on this thing you just need to select this. Let's make it to display as a circle. Likewise for author, let's go on the display thing and select the related value. Related value is in, we want to show the first name and the last name of the selected user instead of their IDs, and we do this thing. Likewise for I think, yeah, we are good to go as of now. So yeah, we go there again. If you see, it is updated, right? Now it is showing the thumbnail, it is showing update. Now it is actually showing this thing. So now update that as well. now let's make it a tag. So we go over here, we go on display, and then we don't show it as a toggle, rather we save it. I think we have to do this choices as well, but let's, yeah, now you can see it as a status, right? So uh, we can do it something like that. And now we also have an option of actually doing searching other things. For example, if you want to search anything, you just need to type this and it will search it like that. But obviously this is not very like an optimized one. So for that you can actually select a specific filter. For example, if I want to search for filter, the title contains test, but now the title contains test, so that is why I'm not getting one. So yeah, let me, okay, this is our first block. Okay, so now let's select that the title should contains first, and now you can see like, it is working again. This UI is also like very much very much extensive, so you can actually update it the way you want. Likewise, let's say I want to search for a specific author, like the blogs based on an author. I go on the author table and say I want to search for the users whose first name, the blogs of the users whose first name is, let's say, Kuldeep, but it's not there. Let's go with admin, and boom, I think you can see. Okay, I think okay, yeah, okay, it is type sensitive. That's what it is showing. Okay, but yeah, you can fix it as well. Okay, so yeah, you can use this admin or something like that, or you can make it to use the email field. You want to find users with this email, search it something like that, and it will all come. Okay, so this is one thing which I liked about Directors very much. Like, it has this many extensible features, especially in terms of the admin panel functionality, in terms of the dashboard. So that is something that I like very much, and I think it is very helpful as well. So if we again, so for the users, again, you can go over there and you can update and understand that you would want in again option, or obviously in this option in the media options also we have this many options. Again, this was the something that I was talking about. You can create specific dashboards based on certain inputs. For example, you can click on create dashboard thing. You can create, let's say, you want to build a test dashboard, and you can put something, yeah, testing it out and stuff. Anything you want, you can put it there, and then you can actually create elements. So let's say let's edit it, and then that's one plus thing. So you can put any of the labels, you can put any of the list, you can put any of the metrics, you can put any of the time series data, and then based on then you can keep going on. So though although this is not this option is not very much, like, it does not have a lot of options as of now, as a so you cannot consider it as a full fledged business insight tool, but it is very helpful. I have been using it, and yeah, for basic data it is good. For example, you want to see all the published blogs and stuff. You don't want to go there in the tables and you want to filter it manually. So you can go over here and you can check it out. You want to see how many users have subscribed to some of the content. You can go it out and filter it like that from Shitter. Now, how do we update this name, right? You go on the project setting, you make it okay, let's make it as iTalk, and boom, you can put the URLs and it will be good to go. I updated and absolutely it is updated right now. So by default, I have not put any logo, so that's why it is coming it. So yeah, you can select in your logo and it is boom, you're good to go. Likewise, also you can select this public foreground and background, and it will basically update the admin login page, right? It will update that field. You can also put custom CSS, and you'll be good to go. Likewise, you can select a few default options, like by default auth logins should have this many options and stuff and other things like that. So yeah, for the map box, you will have to put the map box access key here, and then the map will actually work. And then I think then you can create the base map and other things as well right here. Likewise, it has data model things from where you can actually create all the models. And by default, these are the models that we already have for the field, for the folders, for the notifications, for the roles, for the use and other things. And now we have this roles option, so you can actually select any of the new role and you can assign it to a user. So right now, in this current version, they don't have any option of actually assigning multiple roles to to a single user, but I think they are actually working on it. So soon we will have that option as well, so where you can actually do it that. Now, how we can how we can access the API. So for example, the accessing the API is very simple as well with this thing as well. What we do is you copy this this thing, you copy this point, You put the items and then you put the name of the collection. So, for example, the name of our collection was blogs. If I do this, okay, I don't need to put this because these are some wrong credentials. I do this like, and yeah, this is, we are not able to access it, right? Why? Because in the pub, so for example, if you want to if you want to like, build any of the, if you want to enable any of the endpoint, then we should not click on an authentication. So you go over there and then you update this public one. So you will see that, like, you have this many options. For example, like, you can actually specify specific permissions for specific REST endpoints. For example, I just want to see them. I just want to see them all the blocks. So I will just enable the read permissions. For example, now if they go over there, then they will get all the fields. They will get all of there. Like, for example, okay, now if I want to allow them to put the data, then I just need to upgrade this as well, and they will be good to go. Likewise, I can, likewise, what we can do is, we can update the editing power as well. Likewise, we can update the editing power as well. Likewise, we can enable the sharing option as well. So that is how we can do it. But let's say we want to further customize it. Like, we want to for all the unauthenticated users, we can, what we want to do is, like, we want to just go, we want to give them the only ones that are actually published. So we go there and we say that if they should only be able to access the blogs that are actually published, and then we go on the field permissions, and you can also see. So if you see, the user created and user updated are, like, are not required, because this is something that there is an internal data, and that is something that we probably might not want to share with them. So rather, all the data looks good, so you can just select it, and then if you see, they will refresh it, and boom, they will get all the options. They will not get other options. Okay. Now, again, so again, you can access this thing. The good thing is that, you can actually access this via GraphQL as well, and for that you don't need to put any of the custom plugin that you would want. Rather, you can actually use it right away from here itself. So you actually don't need to put any of the custom plugin. Rather, you just have to use this one, and you will be good to go. You will be good to go, right? So yeah, again, how, so yeah, for example, if you want to use this endpoint as a REST endpoint, what you need to do is you just do something like, you do fields, and then you say these are the fields that I want. So, for example, if I say I want the ID field only, I will pass the ID field. Okay. uh okay, I think I am missing something. Okay, field list. Okay, and then status ID. Okay, I think I'm putting something wrong. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I have it somewhere. Yeah, we pass it as fields only. We pass it at fields only. Do they not have permission to read the this ID field? Okay, they have the permission. Okay, okay. I think it is acting weird, but it usually works. I have used it plenty of times, but for some reason it is not working now. Okay, but yeah, they have, if we pass a number of fields, then it will actually give us that field itself. For example, if I say, if I want the title, then it should give that as the title itself. But okay, I think I have some issues in my configuration or something like that. That's what is not working. Otherwise, whatever the fields that will pass, it will actually return you that thing. If you don't pass anything, or if you pass a stick, then it will give you the fields that you have defined over here. Like the field permission that you have put over here will be given to them. And likewise, like, if you want to perform some search, then you just say search equals to, let's say you just want to say this is a first, and I think it should be to go. Okay. Okay. I think I have some wrong configuration over here. That's why it's not working. Because I have used it plenty of times and it works like a charm. So maybe I'm missing something right now. I'm doing something wrong, but yeah, it is quite possible. Likewise, if you see, like, this is one thing. This is an author, right? So I want to get the nested data. So what do I do? I just do, I author the testing. So all the fields that is actually visible for me, I will get that field for it. So I think, yeah, technically, I think we have some issues over here. I think we have some issues on the code. I think it is looking something like weird, but okay. Uh, I think, yeah, I have some specific disconfiguration over here. That's why it is not working. And on top of it, actually, this the this director has by default support of, by default it has a support of caching. So since we have put the Redis cache over here, that's why it is like caching all the output. So you don't need to worry about it. Also, you have an option to actually purge all the cache if you want. You can do it forcefully, and it will just do it. Likewise, for example, let's say I want to create new roles. So what do? I go over there. I create. Let's say I want to create an author role. Okay, and I'm saying that they should have an app access, but they should not be able to access the admin panel. And like this, I just did it. I made an author role, and I'm now updating. Okay, so what I'm saying that they should be able to access all the items that have been published, which has published at the same time. For example, it is an author, so they should also be able to see all the drafts that they have made, right? So now what we can how we can do it, like where I can see this, I can select the author, and the author ID should be, so the writers has a cool cool option of, dynamic variables. We call it dynamic variable. So the current user will automatically put the current user. So what do you want? You want any of this condition to be true. We say either, the object of that specific row, the author of that specific blog is the current user, or the share is published. So they should be able to see all the published items, and accept all the items that, that is their own. They can see all of them, right? And for these things, again, let's give them all the option, like should be able to access everything except this user created and user updated thing, because that is also something that we want to see in admin panel. We don't want to allow it to be seen on the other one, right? Likewise, we want to give an option to create a blog as well, right? So what they should pass, they should be able to pass the, not they should be able to pass the title, the content, the text, the publisher, and thumbnail. Like, why we're not allowing them to pass author? Because then they will be able to make any blog in the other's name. And likewise, we can do some validation, and at the same time, now I can put the field presets, right? So field presets are places where, I can define the default values in the API call, right? So one way of actually defining the author is will be something like, that author field will have the current user. So I will just make it something like this, current, and then it should be the current user, and then boom, we are good to. Either I can do like this, I can save it, but I want to do it in a more efficient way. So what I will do, I will go in the data model, I will go in this thing, and I will say that, in the field, in the relationship, I think we have an option. Okay, in the interface, this is the author file, right? Okay. So yeah, in the schema, whenever someone will create it, we just have to save their current URL. So no matter, if you are, you cannot create you cannot create blog in any other's name. It has to be you. Whenever we are creating it for update, you can save. Anyone can update it. Anyone can update it, as in the access will be with that image, so they can only access it. But on saving, I'm studying it that whoever will save it, their user will be saved as an author. They automatically become an author for it. Okay. Now let's go back to it, and now let's update it. Okay. Now if you see again, in field permissions, they can pass this many fields. In field validation, we don't validate it as of now, but we can put the validations over here. And then again, in the validations, we can, put all sort of validation. We can select any field, and then we can perform equals to, equal, contains, does not contains, does not equals to, and other things, and like that. Now likewise, we want to allow them to update, their blogs only. How we can do this? We can go on the edit option. We can go on again. So I what sort of which items they should be able to access? The blocks that they have published, not the blocks they have not published, right? So they should be able to uh, access their current blocks and stuff, right? Current user, okay. Uh, Current and then user, okay. So what are the fields that they should be able to update? They should be able to update the status. They should be able to publish update any of this field. publisher, thumbnails, and they should not be able to update author. And then again, we can put some validation, and then we can obviously put some presets over there as well. Likewise, they should be able. So these are the permissions for this author role. Any user with this author role will have to follow this thing. Like, so if you're thinking, like, how as an admin, if you want to update any other fields, how can we do it? So just remember, like, for administrator we have different role. So administrator will this permissions will not apply on the administrator. Rather, they will be applied via this thing. And the administrator role has literally everything. It can do anything anywhere it wants. It does not have to go with this thing. So yeah, we want to disallow anyone to delete the articles. They can do update the status, but they should not be able to allow it, right? So yeah, that is like that. And likewise, we can do some, like, login and other things. And by default, it has a by default simple auth implementation where, like, you will get some access token and refresh token, and you can actually pass it an on authorization header, and then you can use it like it. Okay, so yeah, and now for the public ones, also you can see for public ones, we don't want to allow them to create or, like, delete or update, right? They should just be able to see the blog that are there. Uh, so yeah, so this is, in a way, this is something that is powerful that I like. Again, then you have a preset bookmarks, and then, like, webhooks and stuff like that. So you can create webhooks, and likewise again you can like, select for which of the models you would want to, like, for which of the actions, for which of the collections, and for which of the actions you would like to trigger that specific webhook, and then you can again, like, update it. This web is also very powerful in terms of the options that it provides, and it has been very helpful. So yes, guys, I think if you want to see, so yeah, the most beautiful thing about this is, like, that you can actually update everything on it. So, for example, if you see in our project that we have created as of now, in the code option, you will see, yeah, so you will not see any, you're not getting any option. But what if you want to update it, like, we just need to create an extension for it, and then, like, inside the action, for example, if you want to update, or if you want to make our own module, then you will create a modules folder over there. And they have a very beautiful article about how you can actually update the whole dashboard as your own. You can update all the options which are present over here. You can update all the options that are present over there, like the navigation bar and the page or the side view and stuff like that. So, for example, if you there's already an option of, like, actually bulk updating as well. You just create all the items over here, and then you can actually update it. But I don't know why it is not showing that, but yes, we usually have an option to update bulk update. I think we don't have multiple items, that's why it is not showing us. But again, we can actually get it from there as well, and that, yeah, you can export everything in a specific format. And then again, yeah, if you're considering, you can obviously select this thing, and you can say the layout, show the title of the blog, and it is good to go. In the subtitle, you can maybe select the, like, the author's content, the first name, and then the last name of the author. And let me remove this, and good, you'll see that, like, this is how it is coming. And if you want to crop the specific field, so by default it is, like, picking up the thumbnail, and that is something that you want. So likewise, you can select the calendar view, and you can say that in the calendar view, the display template should select the title one, and the start date should be the publish date one. So yeah, again, we don't want it, and we don't, so likewise it will show all the, like, blogs that were published in that specific day and stuff like that. So yeah, if we say, this is one very good way of actually, like, this is one of the very good, it has a very good power of actually building that beautiful dashboard thing. And at the same time, it is very rich in the API aspect as well. By default, it also supports the GraphQL, and you can actually see it. But I'm not sure about the endpoint as of now, and also we have crossed the time, so that's why I would like to conclude this session as of now. If you have any, give me a minute. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can, like, either hit me, or it may, I think you can ping me, or you can search on the official documentation of directors. It also has a one very good community on what is that platform? Discord. Yeah, they have a very good community on Discord. You can post any queries there. They are very helpful and they will help you there as well. So yeah, they support all of the SQL databases. You don't have to worry about it. They by default they have and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, this was about the CMS thing. So if you are probably if you're looking to work, if you want to build some prototype or in very quick time, this is something that you can use, and this is something that I have used and tested. Both of the CMSs are very good, especially directors, especially in terms of presentation, the admin panel, and dashboard and other things. So yes, guys, if you have anything, let me know. And yeah, we are good to conclude the session. So yeah, this we can conclude the session.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir, for having this session. It was, I hope it was quite insightful for the audience.
Yeah.
Following all the days, this is almost we are towards the conclusion of the web development series, and I hope the audience would have got a lot of insights from this series, and they would surely implement and do hands-on
Mhm.
on some projects, because learning is a different track, and also implementing is a different track
Yeah,
altogether.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would also emphasize on that note, or the audience should also try on making some such projects which Kuldeep sir has shown us, and we'll surely try to bring more such sessions. Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye.